Hey everybody, thanks for watching the channel. Thought I'd do a short video on the different water tanks on the Pugsburg Railroad. I have a lot of inexpensive water tanks that I've weathered. I prefer wood water tanks, but I've picked up a lot of inexpensive water tanks at train shows, so I wanted to show you a couple. This one is a Walthers water tank. You can buy these built up in different colors. I re-weathered this one with some aqua pastels and dry brushed the roof with some white dry brushing to bring up the shingles. Thought this made a nice presentation on this particular water tank. Let me show you some others. Here's a Campbell's water tank. This is actually a wood Craftsman kit. This is their northern water tank that has an enclosed bottom half for colder climates. And this is actually a wood Craftsman kit. It is time consuming to build, but the wood gives it an absolute beautiful patina, and it's just an absolutely beautiful tank. These come with Campbell's shingles that install on the roof to just give it an absolute beautiful appearance. Here's another Campbell water tank. Again, this is a Craftsman kit, wood, time consuming to build. This one I painted a different color yellow. Again, it has the shingled roofing, and these wood water tanks are just give you that ambience of wood. Very, very nice. All of us frequent train shows, and these little Atlas plastic water tank kits I pick up all the time. I like them because they're cheap. They're not big tanks. They are good standalone, smaller tanks, but for large buildings, especially factories or what have you, they also make nice rooftop tanks. Let me show you a couple. Here's an Atlas water tank. Obviously, I've changed color, added some browns, some grays, some aquas, did some dry brushing. I like to buy colored sand from Michael's or other Craftsman stores, and I sprinkle that on the roofing with Elmer's glue, use a little bit of white dry brushing, and it gives it a little bit different appearance. So for an inexpensive water tank, I'm pleased with the results. Here's another Atlas water tank, the same water tank, obviously, just I'm using this on a roof. Now let me show you. Let me move this. This is Stuffy's Brewery. It's a fine scale kit. Now I'm going to actually make a little bit larger version of this for the city of Pugsburg, and I'm going to use this Atlas water tank on the top of this particular structure, hence the water tank you see here. I use a black magic marker to do the bands. I use the black colored sand for the roof, and I took an eyedropper with concrete color acrylic paint and used eyedropper droppings of the concrete to give the roof a different textured appearance. So that's a typical rooftop water tank. Let me show you a few more. Walthers makes nice rooftop water tanks. You can buy them. They're actually called, I think, rooftop water tanks. They're about 2 inches in diameter. I like to add signage to them to give them a little life. They can tend to be boring. And I also use the colored sand on the roofs. Here I've used some gray and black colored sand mixed. And here I use some black colored sand with some drippings of aqua to give it some patina. And these are just good looking tanks, especially if you have a large structure like this that would use water tanks for the top. Here's another Walthers coal tower, water tank, I should say, excuse me. This water tank was a light gray. They come in different colors. This one was a light gray one that I used some white pastels on, a little bit of rust for weathering, a little bit of dry brushing on the roof to give it a different patina. Again, it's an inexpensive way to take one of these pre-built water tanks and do a little bit of weathering to them. I can do that for you, or I can build them for you. You can contact me at owlpug1@verizon.net if you're interested for pricing. Now here's a strange water tank. This is actually a Bachmann water tank that I found at Drain Show for $5. I obviously repainted it, and I have built a wood roof for it. It's going to attach from the top hole there into this larger structure as a auxiliary water tank. Again, an inexpensive water tank that I'm working on currently for this particular structure. Now this is the same water tank. This is a Bachmann water tank, same kit I just showed you. Different coloring. Again, pastels and gray this time with some white dry brushing and some browns and some alcohol ink. Added some additional structure and added wings on the side, wood wings on the side of the water tank. And I, again, used the black sand, colored sand, except in this case, I painted it concrete gray and used a little bit of alcohol ink to give it a patina. Let me swing around the other side. So this is kind of an unusual looking water tank. And again, it started life as a very inexpensive Bachmann water tank. Here's another example of a Walthers rooftop water tank that I cut down, added some interesting signage to, sandpaper, actually sand-colored sand, black and silver color sand mixed together for the roof. Made an interesting presentation on the top of this particular city structure. Picked up this water tank for about $5 at a Drain Show. I believe it was a model, I don't know what it was. Had a nice brick base, weathered the brick base with some concrete, repainted the water tank with pastels, added the black sand roofing, added a little bit of vinage growing up the top, made for kind of an interesting small tank. And I'll end tonight's video with this scratch-built version of a water tank and tool shed that Fine Skill Miniatures came out with. Now, this is actually available as a kit. You can go to eBay and type in Fine Skill Miniatures. This is a water tank and tool shed. A lot of times these bring $100 on built. What I did with this is, again, I used a Atlas water tank, weathered with pastel chalks or pastels and chalk, added a Campbell roof to the top, scratch built the base for the water tank, and scratch built a small tool shed, detailed the interior of the tool shed, added a nice tool yard. It made for a nice presentation. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Thanks so much.